Okay, welcome back to the CA Foundation Accounts lecture number 3. Right? 2 videos are over. This is the third class. And in last class, we discussed some journal entries. I think just started journal entries in the last class. In today's class, we'll practice few more journal entries and then we'll enter into the next concept. Okay, done. Before we going to the further concept, first of all, I'll just revise the previous class. In the previous class, the important concept we discussed is golden rules of accounting, right? Do you remember? Tell me what are the golden rules of accounting? And actually there are 3 golden rules, right? First one is debit receiver, credit giver. Okay, what is the next one? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. What is the third one? Debit expenses and losses, credit incomes and gains. Okay, please revise these three rules. Debit the receiver, credit the giver, debit what comes in, credit what goes out, debit expenses and losses, credit incomes and gains. Super. Okay, super. So these 3 are called golden rules of accounting. So by using these golden rules, we can prepare or we can record journal entries. What is that? By using these 3 golden rules, we can prepare or we can record journal entries. See, let's see. The transaction is amount received from, I'll write here. You can look at your screen, please. Amount received 20,000 from Mahesh. This is the transaction actually. So we have to record a journal entry. So we don't know journal entry, but we know golden rules, right? So just use golden rules. Before that, observe what is happening here. Amount received 20,000 from Mahesh. That means Mahesh is giving 20,000 to us, right? So who is Mahesh here? He is giver. How much? 20,000. If you observe rule number 1, debit receiver, credit giver. Here Mahesh is giver, right? So we have to credit Mahesh. We have to write like this: to Mahesh account. How much? 20,000. Now the point is debit. A account ni debit cheyali sir ante here observe what is happening here. Mahesh is giving to us 20,000. Okay. One more thing, what is giving? Cash is giving. How much? 20,000. That means cash is coming in. So if you observe rule number 2, debit what comes in. That means I have to debit. What is coming in here? Cash is coming in, right? So I have to debit cash. So cash account data to Mahesh account 20,000 rupees. This is called journal entry, right? Simple. What is that? First you have to observe the transaction and grasp the essence of the transaction, and then observe the rules and apply rules on this transaction. Then we can easily write a journal entry. Let us see some more examples. Example number 2. Please note it down in your notebook. This is example number 1. Example number 2. Amount paid to Mahesh, 30,000 rupees. Here, first observe the transaction. What is happening here? Here, amount paid to Mahesh. That means Mahesh is receiver, right? So we are paying cash. That means cash is going out from our pocket. So here, cash is going out. Okay. So then go to the golden rules. What is the first one? Debit what comes in? Sorry, debit the receiver, credit the giver. So here Mahesh is receiver or giver? Receiver. So I have to debit Mahesh. So what is the entry? Mahesh account debit. 2. This is the problem. 2. Here 30,000 is going out, right? So 2 cash. 30,000. Okay. Now observe example number 1 and example number 2. You can identify the difference between those two items, those two transactions actually. In first transaction, what is happening? Amount received from Mahesh. What is the entry? Cash account data to Mahesh account. In second transaction, what is happening? Amount paid to Mahesh. So what is happening here? Amount is paid to Mahesh. That means Mahesh is receiving from us. How much amount? 30,000. So here what is the entry? Mahesh account data to cash account. Simple. Just we have to apply golden rules on the transaction. Then we'll get a journal entry. Clear? I'll give you 1.5 minutes. Please observe or please identify the difference between the two transactions. Identify the difference between those two transactions. What is the main difference? You have to focus why we are debiting, why we are crediting. That is the important forecast. Done? Super. Please note this all examples. Now, example number 3. What is example number 3? Salary paid 30 lakh rupees. We need a journal entry. Okay. 1 minute. Salary paid 30 lakh rupees. We need a journal entry. Just try once. I'll give you some time. Try it on your own. For this, you have to know what is expense, what is income. I told you in the second video. If anybody missed, please go to the second video, then come to this video. What is salary? What is expense? What is income? Expense means money is going out from my pocket. Income means money is coming to our organization. So here salary is my expense or income? Expense. Okay. Then you have to go to your golden rule number 2. Sorry, rule number 3. What is rule number 3? Debit all expenses and losses. Credit incomes and gains. Here salary is my expense, right? So I have to debit salary. Then what is the entry? Salary account debit to cash account. 30 lakhs. So why I debited salary? Because it is my expense. Why I credited cash? Because cash is going out. Rule number 2, credit what goes out. Clear? Note it down. Salary paid 30 lakhs. What is the entry? Salary account data to cash account. Why we debited salary? Because it is my expense. Salary account debit to cash account. Why I credited cash? Because cash is going out from my pocket. Since applying rule number 2, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So because cash is going out, I credited cash account. Please note this journal entry in your notebook. So what is the journal entry for salary paid? Salary account data to cash account 30 lakhs. So I'll give example number 4. Salary received 20 lakhs. I'm sorry. This is not example number 4. Example number 4 is rent paid 50,000. Yes, give me the journal entry. Rent paid. First of all, you have to observe, is it my expense or income? You have to observe, is it my expense or income? Then you have to focus whether I have to debit or I have to credit. Same as salary, just observe the transaction and apply golden rules. Then we'll get a journal entry easily. Rent paid 50,000, right? So what is journal entry? First of all, you have to observe, is it my expense or income? Income? No, we are paying rent. So that is my expense. What is rule number 3? Debit all expenses and losses, credit incomes and gains, right? So rent account debit to cash account. How much? 50,000. Clear? Done. Now I'll give you next example. This you have to do on your own. Rent received 40,000. Rent received 40,000. I need journal entry. This is not a rocket science. Just observe the transaction and apply golden rules. Then you will get a journal entry. That's it. Here rent is not paying. Here rent is received to us. Here rent is received, not paying. Do it on your own. Okay. Here rent is my expense or income? Here rent is not expense, sorry. Here rent is not expense, this is my income. Why it is my income? Because I am receiving, not paying. So this is my income. So what is rule number 3? Debit all expenses and losses, credit incomes and gains. So to rent income. Okay. Then 40,000 is coming or going? Coming. So cash account debit 40,000. Clear? What is happening here? Cash is coming and rent income is that is the rent income. So I have to credit income. So I credited rent income. I have to debit what comes in. So I debited cash account. Clear? So what is the journal entry for rent income received? Cash account data to rent income account. Next example number 6, right? 6. Example number 6. Electricity bill paid 1,250. Sorry, 1,250. Okay. Electricity bill paid 1,250. So now give me the journal entry. First of all, you have to observe expense or income. Is it my expense or income? Income. No, we are paying. So this is my expense. Okay. So electricity bill will account debtor to cash account, right? 1,250. Why I debited electricity bill account? Because that is my expense. Why I created cash account? Because this is going out from my pocket. So what is the journal entry? Electricity bill account data to cash account, right? Okay. Example number 7. Interest paid 2,150. Now tell me, what is journal entry? Interest paid. So here, what is happening? Interest is paid by us. That means cash is going out from my pocket, because that is my expense or income. Expense. So I have to debit expense, right? So what is journal entry? Interest account data to cash account 2,150. Interest account data to cash account. How much? 2150. 2150. Make it 2150. Amount is nothing irrelevant here. Just I am focusing on journal entry. Which account is debited, which account is credited. Done? Okay. I'll give you 2 minutes. Just go through all 7 examples once. ఒకసారి అన్ని రిఫర్ చేయండి. ఒకసారి చెక్ చేసుకోండి 7 examples. ఎందుకు డెబిట్స్ ఎందుకు క్రియేట్ చేసి ఒకసారి చెక్ చేసుకోండి నన్ను. Why we are debiting, why we are crediting such accounts? If you are completed, then I'll go to the further concept. If you completed these examples, then we'll start a new concept. Okay, thank God, power వచ్చింది. Then I'll start a new concept. that is asset. Have you ever heard this word? Asset. Asset means which generates future profits. What is that? I'll repeat. Which generates future profits is called asset. Okay. For example, tables ఉన్నాయి ఇక్కడ, బెంచెస్ ఉన్నాయి, ఏసీస్ ఉన్నాయి, కెమెరాస్, ల్యాప్టాప్స్, ప్రొజెక్టర్ ఉన్నాయి. సో ఈ బ్యాచ్లో మీరున్నారు కాబట్టి వీటిని మీకోసం యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం. నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్కి సమ్ అదర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ విల్ కమ్, సేమ్ మెథడ్స్ విల్ బి యూజ్డ్ ఫర్ దోస్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆల్సో. ఆర్ యు గెటింగ్ మై పాయింట్? సో సేమ్ మెథడ్స్ విల్ బి యూజ్డ్ ఫర్ them also. That means same assets will generate future profits. Clear? So that's why all these items are called assets. The main examples for the assets are land, buildings. These are main examples. For these classrooms, benches, projectors, ACs, fans, cameras, laptops, projector, all this infrastructure, furniture. Simply we can say which generates future profits is called assets. Okay. Again, assets are divided into two types. How many types? Two types. They are called tangible assets. Another one is intangible assets. Note it down please. Assets are divided into two categories: tangible assets, intangible assets. Okay, sir. Tell me what is tangible assets. I'll tell you. Tangible assets means which have physical existence. Physical existence. That means we can see and touch. For example, building undi. మనం చూడొచ్చా బిల్డింగ్? We can see. Touch it? Yes, we can touch. Benches, we can see and touch. Laptop, projector, all these assets are called tangible assets because they have physical existence. Okay, because they have physical existence, we can call it as tangible assets. Then what is intangible assets, sir? That means non-physical existence. అంటే మనము చూడలేనివి కూడా అసెట్స్ ఉంటాయి సార్. ఎలా అసెట్స్ సార్? ఇఫ్ యూ అబ్జర్వ్, ఐ టోల్డ్ యూ ద డెఫినేషన్, జనరేట్ ఫ్యూచర్ ప్రాఫిట్స్, అండ్ అగైన్ ఐఎమ్ టెలింగ్ నాన్ ఫిజికల్ ఎగ్జిస్టెన్స్. దట్ మీన్స్ మన కంటికి కనిపించకుండా అసెట్స్ ఉంటాయి, అవి ప్రాఫిట్ని జనరేట్ చేస్తాయి ఫ్యూచర్లో. అలా ఏమైనా అసెట్స్ ఉంటాయా సార్ అంటే ఎస్ ఉంటాయి సార్. ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ సార్ అంటే పేటెంట్స్, కాపీ రైట్, ఇది మీరు వినుంటారు, కాపీ రైట్స్ ఆర్ పేటెంట్స్. మనం ఏదైనా బుక్ ఒకవేళ మనం రాస్తే కనుక స్టార్టింగ్ ఆర్ ఎండింగ్ పేజ్లో మన నేమ్ ఉంటుంది, మనకి కాపీ రైట్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఈ బుక్ మీద టోటల్ కాపీ రైట్స్ మనవి. సో ఈ కాపీ రైట్ని మనం రిజిస్టర్ చేసుకుంటాం. దట్ ఈజ్ మై అసెట్. సో పేటెంట్స్, copyrights. One more most popular example for intangible asset is goodwill. What is goodwill? You will learn in your CMA Inter in detailed manner. Okay. So I repeat the total assets concept once. Assets means which generates future profits. Examples: land and buildings. Assets are two types: tangible assets, intangible assets. Tangible assets means which have physical existence, that means we can see and touch and we can feel the asset. Second one is intangible assets, that means there is no no physical existence for that asset, we can't see and we can't touch. Examples of goodwill, patents, copyrights, etc. This is total concept of assets. So for this, how to write journal entries regarding assets, I'll tell you now. Journal entries related to assets. Asset purchase చేసే asset ని డెబిట్ చేయాలి. అసెట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయితే డెబిట్ చేయాలి. అసెట్ డిక్రీజ్ అయితే క్రెడిట్ చేయాలి. ఎప్పుడు ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది సార్ అంటే ఆబ్వియస్లీ పర్చేస్ చేస్తే ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది. ఎప్పుడు డిక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది సార్ అంటే సేల్ చేస్తే డిక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, సో హియర్ by using this concept, I'll write journal entries. Please observe carefully. For example, asset purchase amount of 10,000 rupees. What is the transaction? Example number 8. Asset purchased for 1 lakh. So I have to write journal entry for this transaction. So asset purchase, what we have to do? We have to debit asset. So what is the journal entry? Asset account debit to cash account 1 lakh 1 lakh. This is the entry. Okay. For example number 9. Asset sold 1 lakh. Now what is the entry? Asset is decreasing, right? So I have to credit asset here. So what is the entry? We have to credit, so to asset account 1 lakh. What is debit amount? What is debit account? Here cash is coming out, right? Cash account debtor 1 lakh. This is the journal entry for sale of asset. Note it down, these two examples: asset purchased, asset sold. What is the journal entry for asset purchased? Asset account debtor to cash account. What is the journal entry for asset sold? Cash account debtor to asset account. Next entry is goods purchased. Here I have to discuss something about the goods and assets. I can call it as goods versus assets. So goods ante enti, assets ante enti? సో ఏ థింగ్స్ అయితే నేను రెగ్యులర్గా పర్చేజ్ అండ్ సేల్ చేస్తానో దే ఆర్ కాల్డ్ గుడ్స్. అసెట్స్ అంటే ఏంటంటే విచ్ విల్ జనరేట్ ఫ్యూచర్ ప్రాఫిట్స్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ అసెట్స్. ఇక్కడ బాగా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి, గూడ్స్ అంటే రెగ్యులర్గా నేను పర్చేజ్ అండ్ సేల్ చేసేవి గూడ్స్. అదర్ దెన్ గూడ్స్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ అసెట్స్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, మనది ఒక సిమెంట్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ కంపెనీ. దట్ మీన్స్ వీఆర్ ప్రొడ్యూసింగ్ సిమెంట్స్ అండ్ వీఆర్ సెల్లింగ్ సిమెంట్స్. సో ఫర్ అస్ సిమెంట్ ఈజ్ ఆర్ గుడ్. ఓకే, అండ్ వాట్ ఈజ్ అవర్ అసెట్స్? అవర్ అసెట్స్ ఆర్ our buildings, our land, our machineries, our ACs, our refrigerators, our fans, all these items are our assets. Our goods are cement. For example, our business is purchasing chocolates from wholesaler and selling to the customers. That means we are retailer. We are purchasing chocolates from wholesaler. We are selling to the customers. So our goods are what we are purchasing, what we are selling. Chocolates. Chocolates are our goods. And what are our assets? Our assets are building, labor, ACs, fans. All these are our assets. What are the goods? Chocolates. Okay. For example, we purchased a mobile phone. So we purchased a mobile phone, but our business is chocolate business. So for us, this is our asset, right? Because this is not my regular trading item. Clear? So this is my asset. Okay. Please observe carefully, listen carefully. So for me, this is my asset. Okay. Case number 2. Same Big C mobiles are there, no? So for Big C mobiles, they are purchasing and selling mobiles. They purchased this mobile. For us, this is asset. For me, same item is good. For me, this is asset. For them, this is asset. So same item is asset for me, good for them. So we can't directly identify this is asset, this is good. We can't identify. We can classify them based upon their use or based upon their perception only. We can't simply building is asset, chocolate is good. We can't identify like this. This is majorly we can classify based upon their business of the owners. Clear? I will repeat. Same mobile is asset for me, good for them. So classification of good or asset is based upon the business entity, not on asset. Okay, based upon the business of the business entity, but not on nature of asset. Clear? So here goods purchased. So now tell me, what is the entry? So purchasing means we are paying cash, right? So to cash. I have to debit what is coming in here? Goods. So I'll write purchases account debit. Not goods. I'll write purchases. Why I write purchases rather than goods, I'll discuss later. Just now you have to remember like this: purchase account data to cash account. That is the entry for goods purchase. Example number 11. Goods sold. Yes, observe the above example. Based upon the purchases, you write entry for sales. Sales to cash కాదు. Purchase sales పెట్టడం కాదు. Observe చేయండి. What is happening there? Cash is coming or going? Coming, right? So what is rule number 2? Debit what comes in. So I have to debit cash to sales, right? So what is journal entry? Cash account data to sales account. This is journal entry for purchases and sales. Now you can look at your screen. You can see journal entries for purchases and sales. What is purchases entry? Purchases account data to cash account. What is sales entry? Cash account data to sales account. What is asset purchased account? Asset account data to cash account. What is asset sold? Cash account data to asset account. Okay. Go through all our examples once. Why I am giving why I am taking enough time ante enduku inta time తీసుకుంటున్నానంటే why I am taking excess time ante because these concepts are foundation for your next level inter and final. So I am taking this much of time because here journal entries are so much helpful or so much necessary for a ledger posting. From ledger will prepare trial balance, from trial balance will prepare profit and loss account, and then balance sheet. For we have to, for the profit and loss account balance sheet, journal entries are necessary, so we have to be expert. Okay, expert అవ్వాలి journal entries లో. So please go through these 11 examples. You should gain expert knowledge in these concepts. I promise you should become expert in accounts in very soon. Okay, please go through examples, these 11 examples. Okay, let's move on. So example number 12. Goods purchased value of 10 lakhs and amount not paid. So here we are not paying cash, but we purchased goods. That means what is happening there? We are purchasing goods but not paying cash. That is called credit transaction. So for this we have to know the difference between cash transaction and credit transaction. I'll revise this concept once. Please listen carefully. Important concept. Transactions are two types: cash transactions, credit transactions. Cash transactions means immediate settlement. Credit transactions means future settlement. Okay, cash transactions means immediate settlement, credit transactions means future settlement. That means, for example, we purchased a goods and paid the cash. So payment is settled immediately. So that is called cash transaction. That is called cash purchase. For example, we sold the goods and we received cash. So amount is settled immediately. So that is called cash transaction, nothing but cash sales. Clear? From the other side, credit transaction. That means settlement in future dates. That is called future settlement. So what is future settlement means? We are not paying cash or we are not receiving cash as of now, that the payment or a receipt, that means settlement will be in future. That is called credit transaction. Okay, we can, other name is non-cash transaction. Okay, that is called non-cash transaction. So here what will happen? Cash is not paid in case of purchases, not received in case of sales. So cash purchases, I need journal entry. Cash purchase, what is the journal entry for cash purchases? Purchases account debtor to cash account 10,000, 10,000. Now I need entry for credit purchases. So what is journal entry for credit purchases? Same as cash purchases. Purchases account debtor 10,000 to cash account 10,000. But cash is not paying now. So in cash place, creditor account will come. Okay, in cash place, creditor account will come. So purchases account debtor to creditors account. Done. Now you tell me entry for cash sales. What is the journal entry for cash sales? Tell me. What is happening there? We are selling the goods and cash is coming to the organization, into the organization. What is the entry? Debit what comes in red. So I have to debit cash, and what is going out? Goods is going out. So what is the journal entry? Cash account debtor to sales account 10,000, 10,000. That is the journal entry for cash sales. So now using your knowledge, tell me entry for credit sales. Journal entry for credit sales, you tell me. Credit sales. This video is most important among those 3 videos. Completed 2 videos and this video. This video is more important. Credit sales, what is the entry? Credit sales to sales. So I have to debit debtors account. So what is the journal entry? Debtors account debtor to sales account. If it is cash sales, debtors account debtor to cash account. Because this is credit sales, what is the entry? Debtors account debtor to sales account. If it is cash sales, cash account debtor to sales account. That is the difference between these cash transaction and credit transaction. Please observe these 4 transactions: cash purchases, credit purchases, cash sales, credit sales. Done. Please note down this 4 transaction. I'll give you some time. Cash purchases, then credit purchases, then 1, 2, 3. What happened? 4. Please fast. Cash purchases, credit purchases, cash sales, credit sales. I need journal entries for these 4 transactions. Okay. Please write first. Done. You can pause your video and you can write. Then I will summarize today's class in just 5 minutes. Just stop your writing and listen carefully. So, golden rules of accounting: debit the receiver, credit the giver, debit what comes in, credit what goes out, debit expenses and losses, credit incomes and gains. These 3 are called 3 golden rules of accounting. So, journal entries for amount received 20,000. What is the journal entry? You have to observe first transaction, then apply golden rules. Amount received 20,000, right, from Mahesh. So you have to observe here Mahesh is giver or receiver? Giver. That means cash is coming from Mahesh. So either Mahesh is giver or receiver? Giver. Okay. So cash account data to Mahesh account 20,000. Next, amount paid to Mahesh 30,000. First transaction received, second transaction paid. That means we are paying to Mahesh. That means cash is going out from my pocket. So what is rule number 2? Debit credit what goes out. So to cash account and debit the receiver. So he is receiving now. So Mahesh account data to cash account. Third entry is important. Salary paid 30 lakhs. So here salary is paid. That means cash is going out from my pocket. And one more thing, salary is my expense, not income. Why it is expense? Because I am paying. So that is my expense. So what is rule number 3? Salary is my expense. So debit all expenses and losses, right? So here salary is my expense. So I have to debit salary. Cash is going out, right, to cash. So what is the journal entry for salary paid? Salary account data to cash account 30 lakhs. Next one is rent paid. What is that? Rent paid. Here rent is also expense like salary. So same as salary, what is the entry? Rent account data to cash account. Why I am debiting rent? Why I am debiting rent? Because rent is my expense. So rent account data to cash account. Next example, rent received 40,000. Here rent received, not payment. So receiving means that is my income. So what is the entry? Cash account data to rent income account. Electricity bill paid 1,250. What is the entry? That is also my expense. So I have to debit my expense. Electricity account data to cash account. Interest paid 2,150. What is my entry? Interest is my expense. So interest account data to cash account 2,150. Next concept is asset. Asset means which generates future profits. Main examples are land and buildings. Assets are classified into two categories: tangible assets, intangible assets. Tangible assets means which have physical existence, that means which we can see and touch. Intangible assets means non-physical existence, that means other than tangible assets. Examples: goodwills, patent, copyrights. Asset purchase చేస్తే డెబిట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయితే, డెబిట్ డిక్రీజ్ అయితే క్రెడిట్. Example number 8, asset purchased for 1 lakh. What is the entry? Here asset is increasing. So asset is increasing. So what is entry? I have to debit asset. So asset account data to cash account 1 lakh. Example number 9, asset sold for 1 lakh. So cash is coming. Cash account data to asset account 1 lakh. Example number 10, goods purchased. Purchases account data to cash account 10,000. Goods sold. Cash account data to sales account 10,000. Next, transactions are two types: cash transaction, credit transaction. Cash transaction means cash is immediately paid. Non-cash credit transaction means non-cash transaction, that means settlement will be in future, that is called credit transaction. Cash purchase entry, purchase account data to cash account. Credit purchase entry, purchase account data to creditors account. Cash sales entry, cash account data to sales account. Credit sales entry, debtors account data to sales account. This is for today's class. In next class I will do few more journal entries, and then we'll go to the next concept. Okay, bye, all the best. ఒకసారి మొత్తం రివైజ్ చేసుకోండి బిఫోర్ యూ గోయింగ్ టు ది ఫర్దర్ వీడియో. థ్యాంక్ యూ, బై. విల్ మీట్ ఇన్ ద నెక్స్ట్ వీడియో.